Hey honey bunches, it's Phoebe. Welcome back to another What I Ate in a Week. This week I focused on using things up in our fridge, freezer and pantry that were sort of hanging around from pre-Christmas, Christmassy, getting together with other people. I wasn't recipe developing this week, which allowed me to do this because recipe developing makes a lot of food be around the place and not really get to using things up. I want to say that it's an extremely privileged what I ate in a week that is trying to use things up. I didn't suffer in any way, and it was extremely delicious, and more so perhaps because I had low expectations, but yes, I think my privilege does come through in the things that I'm counting as using things up. Okay, so Sunday I had a mango to start off the morn that was in our veggie drawer and had been for yonks. Anyway, it was still fine, lovely and chilled for our hot weather that we've been having. I had a piece of banana bread, recipe on the blog. And then lunchtime, this is, again, not using anything up, we just happened to go to the place that have these gluten-free vegan dumplings, and that's a rare combination and they're really great. So yeah, not exactly adhering to the trend in that lunchtime. Yeah, this is a vegan gluten-free hot cross bun. I'm fine with buying like reduced items like that, especially because they go to landfill, and gluten-free vegan type things you don't come across a lot in the toasted bread department. I had a whole thing of morello cherries in the fridge that was sort of left over from making a few rounds of my baked Black Forest cheesecake recipe in my third cookbook. So I made a big one and used all of them up, and it worked out really, really well. In my cookbook it's in 12 small ones, but just cook it for like 25 minutes longer. Worked out a treat, and it looks gorgeous. Had a bit of my Christmas fruit cake and a cup of tea. I didn't eat these, I just made these on Sunday, lentil sausage rolls for a catering thing. Sent them off, and then for dinner on Sunday I made okonomiyaki to use up a big juicy half a cabbage that had been in our veggie drawer for too long. Cabbage lasts forever in a chilled environment. Anyway, had some gluten-free soba noodles. Oh yeah, we had quite a few cans of kombucha in the fridge. I know, the most privileged thing to have on hand and can count as using up. But we'd had a few family get-togethers and no one had drunk them, so I drank a few in this video. Okonomiyaki's so good. It's just like packed veg with a eggy, salty, sushi type flair with the ginger and mayo. It's so good. Had a slice of my baked Black Forest cheesecake with almond coconut yogurt for dessert, and then Monday for breakfast I had the smoothie, which you've probably seen so many times it's getting boring. It's like an acai, blueberry, 1 banana, bit of cacao, bit of vanilla protein powder and almond milk type situation. Very refreshing. And yeah, kind of my fave. I had another hot cross bun with a bit of vegan butter. And then I've been reading so much Nigel Slater because I got quite a few books at the library. He has such cynical humour. It really appeals to me. Anyway, he had a recipe for like grilled aubergine with feta, so I used up some of our tofu feta, which you would have seen from probably the previous chip video, and had lots of dips with it for lunch. Had another slice of the cheesecake, had a snack of avocado with garlic aioli. It's kind of my favourite thing, it's so good. And then for dinner I made my Cajun bean stew with these vegan hot dogs. They're ridiculously expensive, but I bought them a while ago when they were like a third of the price. I'm not even really a big fan of them. I think this has sort of done me with them. Their consistency, as you can see, is weird. They look like rubbers to me. Anyway, it was still tasty. Had the same smoothie on Tuesday morning. I don't use very much acai or blueberries to make those ingredients go further. It's quite a liquidy smoothie, but yeah. I had nannying on this day, so I took some of the bean stew and I ate lots of food before I went. Lots of this cheesecake and a piece of banana bread. Had quite a few plums at nannying because they had some fresh ones there, so we gobbled down a few. And then came home and Mum and I made this olive pasta to use up. So many olives. We have so many jars of olives that my grandma has given us from her garden, but they're not de-stoned, so we sort of been procrastinating about doing that. So my mum and I spent like an hour getting the flesh off them to make this pasta. Was it worth it? Not really, but with lots of vegan cheese on top, anything tastes good. Yeah. We needed olive pepper. For dessert I had some chocolate goji berries, and And then Wednesday had the same smoothie, just put it in 2 glasses because didn't have a vessel big enough. Had a hot cross bun, had a white nectarine, and then had the leftover olive tapenade pasta for lunch. And then I decided to gobble on some of our homegrown cherry tomatoes. We have so many tomato plants this year, but they have not produced much. But that seems to be a trend with people in our area. Anyway, the ones they have produced are delish. So I made a tart for dinner on Wednesday, and it was the best thing of the week. I had 1 bowl of bocconcini, vegan bocconcini, some Miyoko cheese, some artichoke, some homegrown silver beet. I sauteed some leek. Is there anything else in there? No. Oh, probably garlic. Some rosemary. I boiled 1 potato we had, and I popped that all on 1 sheet of gluten-free vegan puff pastry that we had at the bottom of the freezer with some pesto on it. There's some homegrown tomatoes on there too. I drizzled it over some garlic oil and thyme. All the details, probably don't care, but you get the idea. Oh, there was some peas on there too, and it was so good, just like springy fresh veg, and it all married together so well. Yeah, highlight of the week. That was heavenly, and probably never going to be recreated because it had so many ingredients on there. This week has been a big Nigella week as well. I've been reading a lot of her cookbooks that I borrowed from my grandma and watching a lot of her early TV shows, so inspired by her I made some chocolate pots to use up some softer tofu we had, and I made them at night and I had a few mouthfuls before going to bed because they'd semi-set and I wanted to taste them, and they're great. I need to do a few more tweaks, but they're getting there. And yeah, love Nigella and her love of chocolate desserts. The morning of Thursday was similar to the others. Also went to nannying, had a few more plums. We made my thumbprint cookies, so I'll leave the link to them below. Came home, wanted to have my tart, but my brother had ate it. Thank you very much, not. So I made a tofu scramble, had a hash brown, avocado, had a chocolate pot, and then dinner on Thursday was just like a hodgepodge of things we had in the freezer. 1 vegan spring roll, these chicken Kiev things that were vegan I bought pre-Christmas but didn't use them for anything. I also made fritters out of like the rest of the artichokes we had on hand. They had the tofu, the soft tofu and zucchini in them, and they were a bit soft, but shallow frying makes anything work, so we had that with lots of veg. And there's Jack, he's a groodle we looked after for a couple of days this week, and it was heaven having him around. As you can see, he looks a bit like Harvey did, so yeah, that's been nice. Breakfast on Friday, I had cereal. This was really stale, but you know, did the job. His owners didn't give us a bed for him, so we sort of claimed the couch, but he looked so regal and happy, and he's pretty clean. It was fine. I headed out on Friday to do like quite a few jobbies, and so I gobbled down maybe like 4 or 5 of the fritters before heading out. Look at that face. Oh, he's very leggy too. He like bounds around like a rabbit. I had this jar of dried raspberries that have been sitting for probably over a year, and so I finally used them up by altering Kate Bradley's raspberry ripe bites or balls. I just pressed it into a pan because I couldn't be bothered rolling, and that used up lots of desiccated coconut we had as well. I was craving some chocolatey pot things, so I got a carton of chocolate almond milk and put that in moulds to make some cheap icy poles after coming back from the shops. And then I made another highlight of the week, a Vietnamese chicken and mint slaw salad from Nigella Bites, her cookbook, but found some vegan chicken at Coles that is vegan and gluten-free. Obviously vegan, but also gluten-free. And this was the best. It was cold, it was herby, it had like Vietnamese dressing that just made me so happy. I've been craving something like this for yonks, and I'll definitely be sharing the recipe because it worked out. Amazing first go. How well I eat sort of deteriorates from here because it was so hot Friday and Saturday. I had a big glass of chocolate almond milk before heading out to the sea bombshell with some friends. We had one of those ice creams you saw, and then grabbed sushi. And then I came home and was sweating through everything, and so I had one of my icy poles I made Saturday. Had another smoothie. It was Jack's last day with us. I ate the rest of the chicken Vietnamese slaw thing for like breakfast part 2. Yum. And then I made okonomiyaki with the remaining shredded cabbage we had in the fridge. Beast of a thing. It was great. Had a square of the raspberry ripe bars, and then On a little Nigella kick that I am, I veganised another one of her recipes with these vegan sausages from Coles. I know they look a bit odd and meaty, but they're definitely vegan, don't stress. It was just like oniony lentils with the sausages on top in like a red wine garlicky sauce. I also cooked up some twice roasted potatoes and we had it with broccoli. This felt like a Sunday roast type dinner. It was really good and filling. I'll share a sausage recipe, or I'm sure I'll come up with my own, but needs a bit more tweaking. And I really didn't need this, but I guess I was excited because these were on special and I like trying new things. I'd never tried these before, and most vegan magnums are not gluten-free, so I know this is not adhering with the trend of what this week was meant to be, using things up, but yes, I did finish the week with one of them. Thank you for watching, Honey Bunches. It was really nice doing this week, and in weeks I'm not recipe testing my booty off, I shall do this and record it in future. Yeah, and thank you so much for all the support on Patreon, Honey Bunches. If you didn't know, I have a Patreon and I share extra content there, and I really appreciate the support because my content's very niche and doesn't make monetization very beneficial or worthwhile. So yeah, links to that will be below. Bye.